Hello. I've been meaning to do a content video for a while now, and I'm finally doing it. I don't know if it will turn out great or not, but I just want to have something on my channel, to start off. So, today I'm doing like a video of compiling my 10 most played Steam games. It's a video I've seen ProZD do, which is a YouTuber I like a lot, as well as Astrid from Sleep Deprived, if you know her. Great content, and I thought it was fun. I thought it's a nice opportunity to rant about your games and just speak to your audience, I guess, and also just have an archive of what you like on the internet. So that's what I'm doing today. Starting off at number 10, we have Deep Rock Galactic. So, this game, for those of you who don't know, it's maybe one of the least popular ones on this list, even though it is quite popular. It's a cooperative game. Multiplayer came out, I think in 2020, maybe later on. I'm not sure. I initially heard about it from it was just a video on YouTube. I found it. It was like the pickaxe of Deep Rock Galactic. And I was so intrigued. I was like, what the fuck is this? And literally, the video talks about for 20 minutes about the intricate functions of the pickaxe in Deep Rock Galactic. So, Deep Rock Galactic is I guess, mining, shooting, bug exterminating game, mining game. I already said that, where you try to extract resources from mines while defending yourselves from bugs, and then returning with the resources. It's really fun. It's very, very fun. It's class centered. Like, there's 4 different classes. Very good cosmetic system, and there's just so much fucking shit to talk about. The people, the community in this game is very much into let's say the role play. Like, every single fucking guy or girl or whatever always fucking shouts rock and stone, which is sort of the game's battle cry as soon as you do something, or death rattle, depending on if you win or lose. And it's so fun. It's really fun to get yourself into the skin of a dwarf, to just mess around, hop around. If you're playing scout with like a fucking grapple, and yeah, and I've always loved, for some reason, games with destructible environment. That's always been a thing I loved in games, feeling like you can really interact with the environment. Now, funnily enough, almost none of the games on this list today will have interactable environment, but I do always value it, and I value it a lot in the Pro Galactic. So this places at number 10. The cosmetic progression is very nice. It's battle pass, but it's free, so it's like you don't feel scammed, So that's a very fun time I've had on that game. So moving on with 40 hours more, sorry, 60, it's Enter the Gungeon. Now, this game I actually 100%ed, and for a good reason. It's amazing. Like, of course it is. It's a roguelike with like a funny concept where basically everything in the game is a gun. Like, from every single enemy, it's like some bullet or some sort of plain words with gun. The mimics, which are chests, are like wield fucking double guns, which themselves shoot guns. It's all like super gun focused, which is funny. It really, really takes me into the skin of a middle schooler in America. It's amazing, right? And very immersive. The enemy designs are awesome. It's chock full of references to the brim. Like, every single gun, every single enemy is almost always a reference to some sort of either niche or well-known film or game or book, or just pop culture reference, which really adds to a lot to a game. I don't see enough games do this, honestly. Like, some games will have some references, of course, Most games do, but to have this many, it's very, it adds to the character of the game being very fun, not being too serious, of course, all the while being very challenging. Actually, Enter the Gungeon is to me the most fair roguelike there is, probably the most fun as well. It's not my favorite roguelike, but I think it is the most high quality. The pixel art is frankly godlike. The story is honestly entertaining, and I have watched my fair share of lore videos about it. It's like the perfect blend between luck and skill there is. Each run feels winnable and never tedious. You rarely absolutely steamroll the game, and conversely, in dire situations, you always feel like you have some sort of chance. You can always lock the fuck in, which is great, honestly. And so that's amazing for a game. The soundtrack as well. I mean, you just, whenever you boot up the game, you hear that, and that's simply glorious. Anyone will agree, I think, with some hearing, sorry. And yeah, some of my gripes with the game was that, sadly, I loved Evolve the Digital, but it didn't really evolve the EP very well with Exit the Gungeon and later on the arcade game. Like, at least they did something with it, right? It could have been better. But I guess that's not tied to Enter the Gungeon, but it does sour my perception on the game a tiny bit. I wish it was just more mainstream. That's not a criticism of the game. That's a criticism of the general gaming sphere. Why don't people play this? This is literally the perfect roguelike, I think. It's not my most played. It's not my most enjoyed. I think it's the one that most people will enjoy across all platforms. So, Enter the Gungeon, amazing game. Sorry, I run out of breath sometimes in some sentences. I'm like recording my very first video, I guess, real video, and so I'm sort of talking with a lot of passion, and it's hard to plan out my sentences, but I hope it's okay. 8th is Wallpaper Engine. 8th is Elden Ring. Now, Elden Ring actually has a lot more hours on my Steam account, but me and my brother play on a shared account. He never figured out that you can like actually have a Steam family share account and play on his own. I just couldn't. I mean, it's just an oversight on our part. So my file in Elden Ring actually has 200 hours, so I'm gonna count it as 200 hours. Okay. So Elden Ring. I mean, it doesn't need an introduction, does it? You know it, of course. Your dad knows it. Your unborn child knows it. Your imaginary spirit horse knows it. I like hard games. Enter the Gungeon will tell you, and other games on the list, especially later on, will tell you that I like hard games, and Elden Ring is no exception. I love the fact, actually, that it lets you balance the game on your own terms. You play how hard you want it to play, to like the most minute detail. Oh, you don't want your weapon to deal that much damage? Just don't upgrade it that much. Just don't use spells. Just don't use summons. And for many, that's a disadvantage the game has. Oh, it's not balanced properly. For me, it means that you can play however the fuck you want, and that's just what I need. Also, I mean, I remember the first night I played it, the 24th of February 2022, I believe. I remember pulling an all-nighter after having pre-ordered it, and it was such a memorable experience. I will forever remember it. Just fucking discovering the tutorial and opening that fucking gate without knowing what's behind it, only to discover a giant glowing tree. That was simply wonderful. I will never forget it, and just for that, Elden Ring deserves its praise. But of course, it goes above and beyond. I I do think the game has its flaws, and well, the game is so good that I must mention them. Otherwise, it feels like I'm just glazing it over and over. I feel like people don't talk about enough how like some zones in the base game. I mean, not even in the DLC. In the base game, some zones feel incomplete. Like especially Manor, the Volcano Manor, and the consecrated snow feels like I finished them. I remember I felt empty. I didn't feel like I was done with them. The Giants Peak as well. Like there wasn't enough. And like quest lines, you know. I mean that's just souls, but still quest lines. I mean, okay, that's a flaw that's often mentioned. I still need to mention it because it did tarnish my experience with the game. Tarnished, funny, but yeah, like it's fucking finding a needle in a haystack. Said haystack, guarded by a fucking reused boss in bumfuck nowhere, population 1. Like, come the fuck on, right? I do feel like the DLC is overall more memorable. Maybe it's because it's more recent for me, but it's sort of farming cinematic clips, and the in-between experience between bosses leaves much to be desired, but it's more memorable because like you remember the time you stumble upon your first fire giant, fire golem, or like that the first time you pull that lever and unflood the castle, or like every other cinematic part. The DLC, it also has its flaws, but it's honestly a really great DLC. So yeah, Elden Ring has its flaws, but it's a great game. And so now comes number 7. It's For Honor. So For Honor, it's long time no see for this one. I played it last time for real in 2017 or something. I mean, I was young. I was fucking 12 or 13 or 14, but it was fun. Funnily enough, I bought the Russian version because I was still living in Russia, and so Ubisoft has this weird thing where if you buy a game in a certain region, and the entirety of your game will forever be in that region's language, and you cannot change it. So my whole game experience was in Russian, which, I mean, it didn't bother me that much, but I do remember, I mean, the game didn't necessarily have a big Russian community, so whenever I tried to search for help online, I never could find it. That's just an anecdote, though. I love the gameplay in this game, man. It's like doing rock paper scissors, all the while a sumo wrestler interrupts you every other second to give you a spine massage. Man, I miss you, old Shigoku. Anyway, maps are fun, gorgeous, and also varied. Something for everyone. I mean, you got the generic castle, you got the Japanese castle, you got a Chinese castle. Okay, maybe it's not that as varied. I'm kidding. It's like, I mean, you gotta play the game. I honestly don't remember much of the maps. It's been so long. I do remember it being really pretty. The campaign, actually, I know it gets some shit. I know people don't like the campaign. I like the campaign a lot for some reason. It didn't have a story, but I just like the gameplay. I like the power-ups as well. It felt like I was the main character, and that's really all I needed at that time, honestly. It has a very high skill ceiling. I mean, there's some super cool combos I only learned about like 200 hours in the game, and some still I never even really learned for the Valkyrie. That's who I mean, by the way, the Valkyrie. Um, the community was a bit toxic. I will give it that. I mean, just look at the game. Of course, it will be toxic. It's fucking medieval warfare. So yeah, but nonetheless, it's great. Great combat, great cosmetic progression. Actually, I love how you can fucking build a bear every single weapon you have, and also not to mention, I mean, the executions in the game, like they're so fun. It's like Mortal Kombat, but so much better. I never played Mortal Kombat. Sorry, every single Mortal Kombat fan out there, but it's really like you have so much fun stuff. You have one I remember where you just fucking, well, most of them are decapitations, but it's how fun you can make a decapitation, which makes a game fun, right? Anyway, it's a great game, and we cannot forget the fucking Conquer Raw emo spam. That's also very, very fun. Now, number 6 is clocking in at 315 hours, Rocket League. Rocket League is as toxic as the other game with League in it. You know which one. But for me, there's nostalgia. I mean, I was, 13 or 12 when I first played it. I booted it up in summer, as it was still the paid version. And I remember hearing that the Xiaowei's song that's now in the fucking tidal wave. I remember hearing that fucking music. The music goes a long way in Rocket League. It's intrinsic to the experience, surprisingly enough. I tried to be like a pro trader for a month. Don't laugh at me, I know it's dumb. It didn't work out. But do check out these sick fucking ass cars I got. I mean, look at this. And look at this one. Hell yeah. I always wanted to learn freestyling in Rocket League. That was like the fucking shit I was all about, but I never got to it, sadly. I could only play on keyboard. I didn't have a controller. Those nerf you a lot. I did end up getting to Diamond in all 3 game modes, the main ones, which was really impressive, especially at the time, for me at least. It's like the second competitive game I really got into. The first one was, it's gonna be the very next game I talk about, so stay tuned, I guess. The game modes in Rocket League, I mean, they're the temporary ones are the things that like really I put in a lot of hours in it, because unlike the one with power-ups, I liked the ones like on Halloween where you like hit the ball and it goes fucking super fast into the enemy net. That was so fun, dude. And just seeing the community overall over the years discover tech. Like I remember when the Musty Flick was invented, and that was mind-breaking for me. Did I ever pull it off? I think once I pulled it off in an actual game, and that was godly. But otherwise, yeah, it's just so hype. RLCS is so hype. It's very good. It's very good memories. I haven't checked on the game nearly enough since. I hope it's doing good. I mean, since Epic bought it, since it's became free, it's not really my thing anymore. But I do love it for what it is. And shout out to the Breakout. That's my main car. I love it. Now, next up, as I so elegantly teased in the last game, it's Brawlhalla. This was my childhood game that I played for hours on end for a very, very long time. This was number 1 on this list, like, and by far, like, I had 300 hours on this when my second most played game had like 30. I don't know why. I just felt like Brawlhalla was the game for me. It's the like game I was into. I was in clans. I was in tourneys. I was trying so hard to be like a fucking hotshot, but like bro was also like 11 with a short temper, and so I think me stopping ultimately playing this was good, because I did like almost break a computer because of this. I've grown a lot since then, but honestly, to compare this to like Smash or something, I really enjoyed how Brawlhalla meshes the overall skill with weapons with its special characters. It's something Smash doesn't really do, because every character is different because of their weight, just because of their feeling. Like I don't feel the same level of expertise. Just you get in, you play a character, immediately log the fuck in Brawlhalla as I do in Smash. And that's what makes the game so fun for me. Like, going supernova with the lance on any character was so cool. And also, like, I remember when I found out you could do attacks while standing in midair. That was like 50 hours in. Imagine spending 50 hours to discover that attack. I mean, that just shows how young I was. I didn't know shit about tech and games. But yeah, it was the game I invested a lot. Ultimately, I got to Diamond, which in 2017 was good, actually. It was really good. I mean, nowadays it's probably not as good. I imagine there's been more ranks. I don't keep up with the game at all. I mean, I last played it 4 years ago, and even then, it was for like 2 hours. But yeah, it's the game that I first made friends in. It's the first game where I entered communities. I got invested. My first profile picture was a picture of Olgrim. I went on the fucking amino page for Brawlhalla. Can you imagine that? The amino page for Brawlhalla? Jesus Christ, that must be a safe haven for pedophiles. I mean, God. It was great, honestly. Apart from the few temper tantrums I threw, it was good. And now, moving on, at 406 hours. It is Monster Hunter World. This is my first entry in the Monster Hunter franchise, and only one of two so far. Wild is released actually yesterday as of recording this, but I'm not gonna play until they fucking fix the optimization. Anyway, about World, it's so fucking peak. I remember playing the Twilight Princess boss rush on the Wii when my brother let me play it for like just a tiny bit. I got annihilated, but I fought against one like multiple sword boss that's like in gold. I forget the name. I'm gonna show it on screen right now. And I remember thinking, God, imagine a game where it's just you fucking seek out a monster, like a boss like this, for, I don't know, a bunch of time, and then you fight him. And I actually had the vision for Monster Hunter all the way back then. And I guess I should have become a game designer, maybe. I don't know. Either way, World perfectly recreates the boss rush feeling without being too fast-paced. It's like a slow-paced boss rush, which is exactly what you need for a boss rush. It's immersive also. I mean, the game makes you feel like you're always inside of a movie. Not necessarily always the action part. There's plenty of slow parts, as I've said, but it always feels cinematic. Just every screenshot I'm sure you've seen of the game, it's great. I watched a 6-hour documentary by Oceanus, I don't know how to pronounce it, on the ecology of Monster Hunter, and I don't regret a second of it. It was peak, and it just goes to show how greatly implemented the immersiveness of this game is. It's a game that brings, furries and scalies together, and fish too, I guess. Fishies? I don't know. But yeah, just fucking look at this. What more can you want? I mean, you can go anime mode, you can go big fucking hammer bonk mode. You can do whatever the fuck you want with like monsters. You can cut off their tail, you can break their wings, break their legs, and it all changes their attacks. That's so fun. Like, doing shit that interacts with the environment. See, it goes back to what I said about interacting with the environment in Deep Rock Galactic. Now, not to such an extent, of course, you can break the environment. Although in Wild, I believe you can. But in World, you can't do that. But you can still act on the monster and you feel like it is responding to what you're doing, which is what I fucking love. It's also probably the game with the best DLC of all time. It's better than Elden Ring, possibly. It's better than maybe even Repentance on Isaac, which I will talk about later. A little foreshadowing. It's great, and it's much better than Tears of the Kingdom because it is a DLC. Sorry, fans of Tears of the Kingdom. I'm hyped as fuck to play Wilds. I'm really excited for like probably June when they fix all the optimization issues. That's gonna be great. And when I have the money as well, of course, and the time. So yeah, Monster Hunter World, great fucking game. I also love the Rise. It's also up there in the hours. It's like 100 hours, so not quite on the list, but still great. Still a good time. Yeah, I'm a big Monster Hunter fan now, thanks to the game. And now, onto Celeste. So now we're getting into the game, which I really play consistently, like a lot. I mean, okay, I did I did play Celeste last time in February, but I do intend on playing it again, like doing like hard maps and shit. I finished this game beginning to end under a blanket in 3 days when I was like 14, I think. And I remember going to school when I was so that age, and like having the Mirror Temple B-side music stuck in my head all class, and that was just a fun memory I've had, and it really kickstarted my obsession of this game. I don't obsess about it as much as other games. It's just a joy to play. It's all the movements feel fluid, but I think its main attraction is the tech you learn. There is probably like 200 plus tech movements I've learned over the course of the game, and there's still so many more to learn. There is so much knowledge in such a seemingly simple game, and honestly, that's the sort of game I like to master. Simple, but very, very profound. Yeah. More recently, I got back into the game with Strawberry Jam, and I suddenly figured out I was like fucking cracked. Apparently, like if it isn't for Geometry Dash, actually, this would be my go-to competitive game to play. But I still enjoy playing some Grandmaster maps from time to time. I guess Jumpy Dash stole the Celeste spotlight for me. I wish the modding scene was a bit more developed. Like, don't get me wrong, SJ Strawberry Jam is amazing, but aside from it, I mean, most maps sort of look very samey to me. I know this is an unpopular opinion. I know people will disagree, but I just feel they all look and play the same. And I've done like a good 25 to 30 maps now, so there's probably gonna be some like fucking Celeste heads in the comments. Probably not actually, but saying that like, oh, you actually need to play 100 maps at least to really have an opinion on it. No, I think 25 is enough to say that, yeah, a lot of it feels the same. At least when I played it, which was when I played modded before Strawberry Jam, that was like 2020. So no, maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe more recently it's a lot better, especially after Strawberry Jam. I haven't really checked on it. I have played the Secret Santa collab in 2024, which is great actually. I really loved some of the levels in that. But still, I sometimes check in and most of the maps look boring. Okay, this is a bit of a tangent, but just to put it out there, just to put it somewhere, the community told me that the way I hold my keys like this isn't normal. There are some maps like Pumper actually, which I'd be entirely using my left hand thanks to this key holding method, which is just funny. I think, yeah, I think some people do hold their keys like this, but it actually wrecks your hand, so don't do that if you want to get into Celeste competitively. No, I tried switching back to something more comfortable, but I just couldn't get the hang of it, so I still play like this. So I probably have reached my skill ceiling just because of the way I hold my keys, but I don't really mind. Yeah, that's funny. The game's community is probably the exact opposite of like Rocket League or For Honor, which means that it's like super fucking welcoming and the least toxic of any game of the list, probably of any game ever. Means okay, it's very leftist, right? But that's because I'm leftist, and so it's welcoming to me. But yeah, some very great people. Great folks. Shout outs to Celeste Gord. They are just very nice. Yeah, Celeste. Great game. Now, number 2 is Isaac. Too many nights have I spent as a child fantasizing items and drawing the different enemies and characters of this game. I mean, I had more luck with the characters, probably because they all look the same, but what do I know? And I also remember the release of Anti-Birth. That was fucking sick. Anyway, my 2 favorite moments in the entire game were probably when Afterbirth came out and all the hype leading up to that. Like, I was watching Huts play Greedier and all that jazz, and also Repentance in 2022, or was it 2021? Yeah, they're just discovering the game with the community. That is unmatched. I mean, discovering the tainted characters, that was like having a fucking planet fall on me. Full on. Sorry to anyone I spoiled saying that. I mean, it's been 4 years. Go and play the game, please. God. The game deserves all its praise as a roguelike or roguelite. I don't really care about the name, but I don't think in raw gameplay it rivals Enter the Gungeon, as I've said. It makes up for it with the amount of shit it lets you do. If you want to break the game, go for it. it will let you, and it won't break. Like it lets you break the game without actually breaking. This is the game of min-maxing. The game of min-maxing. The game where you think about possibly like, what if I did this? And your knowledge of the game is always almost rewarded. Of course, there's sometimes where you just get hilariously unlucky, which is a fun moment in of itself, actually. But most of the time, when you think about like, when you constantly push your knowledge to the game to its fullest amount, it will reward you with a win, and that just feels incredible. No other game really does it like Galactic. So many cool runs, hours spent min-maxing the fuck out of beggars, both IRL and in game. Just priceless for them. Well, no, actually, it has a price, and it was my time and sanity, but the payoff is worth it, right? Because you get lucky for it, and then you're happy because you get to spend another hour on machines and beggars, and the soundtrack, right? And the mods. It's all so good. Community kind of sucks, though. I mean, let's be honest, it's just a bunch of children. Why is it children? I was playing this when I was 9. Why? I mean, for me, it's because of my brother, I guess. But come on, this... I mean, I get playing this at 14, you might be edgy, but at 9? At 9? At 10? Come on. That being said, also, I mean, the community might be a key, but one YouTuber in particular, which I gotta shout out, even though, I mean, what is there to shout out? I have 72 subscribers, 10 of them will watch this video, but one YouTuber's community, namely Alexa, was a big part of my childhood and of my presence online. His community developed my passion for games entirely, and led me to many things in life, such as coming out, writing, coming out again, and just trying a bunch of shit. So this game actually like is almost directly related to all of that, weirdly enough. So thank you, Alexa, and also thank you, Julie, for creating a server where like it branched off of that community, and to this day I still talk to her, and it's really fun. So Isaac was basically the gateway to a bunch of my friends online, and well, though they have stayed with me for so long, it's impossible not to think about it, right? So great shit about Isaac, right? Alexa's Hitman streams are still in my mind to this day. And last, but certainly not least, it's Jump Josh. I mean, what did you expect? Like, take a look at the channel, just a quick glance, a look-see, and then tell me you're surprised, right? I don't have the words to begin to describe this game. It would take just about the same amount of time as to get blood bag out of the blood donation machine, so I'll keep that. To sum up, if anyone watching this doesn't know GD, it is so much more than what it seems. I mean, I'm doing the rehearsed GD promotional speech, but it's like art. Like, some GD levels are some of the higher forms of art there is. I'm not kidding. Straight up. Like, some creators out there are actually pumping out 100,000 hours levels for masterpieces for free. That's absurd. Like, okay, just some creators. Shout out to Yoraid, to Jam Attack, to Unmax, to Maxterman, to Loltad, to Mancap, and to Starkey the Saladist, and also to Reply for making my favorite level of this year, Comatose. Well, of 2024 more so. Great job, and great job on being 4th, I believe, in the GD awards. That was also really good. I voted for you. So yeah, uh, fucking wow. GD introduced me to music. Can you imagine? It was 11-year-old me jamming out to Black Blizzard by Kermal. And ever since I watched the Nexus video on it, my ears were fucking done for. I mean, to this day, I think 75% of my playlist comes from GD. And I wouldn't have it any other way, actually. Surprisingly, a lot of it is more than just EDM, as most people would think. It's not just Creo. I love Creo, but it's also fucking Sweet Trip. Somehow, Glass Beach. It's somehow all these genres coming together in this one silly little game. Community wise now, you gotta know where to look. It's at first glance it would be like Isaac, where it's mostly children, but actually no. You gotta. It's such a big community. It's like hundreds of millions of players. There's obviously some communities that are more mature, so don't go in general of the official Jump Tree Dash Discord. That would be a severe mistake you're making. Instead, go to like I'm just promoting the server at this point, but non-list worthy Extreme Demon Discord server. That fucking server has introduced me to so many friends. I'm not gonna repeat the same shit as on Isaac. Like, you get it. I'm very grateful for these people. Also, shout outs to server for Francisco's band. To all the people from there. It's a private server, so don't go looking for it, I guess. But yeah, some great people on there. Go play GD. I don't really have enough time, as I said, to really delve into this game in a small 5-minute segment. Maybe I will dedicate a whole video to Jump Dash, but I feel it's a bit cliche. Nah, maybe in French, actually. That could be a good idea, talking about it in French, because there's no real videos about Geometry Dash in French, like praising the game. But then again, my following isn't the greatest, so I don't think it will get much traction. Maybe I should do it. I don't know. It's not like it really costs a lot, right? I'm doing the shit for free. So yeah, that's all my top 10 games on Steam, excluding Wallpaper Engine. Yeah, some worthy mentions, honorable mentions, are Jump King, which will very, very soon actually enter my top 10 and kick out the Pro Galactic, possibly kick out Enter the Gungeon, and maybe even get to top 4, because I've been playing this game so much. I recently 100%ed it, and it's so fun. I will play like every single custom map there is. It's amazing. It's exactly the type of shit I love. Also, shouts out to Monster Hunter Rise, to Slay Spire, to Hollow Knight, which is almost up there, to Demon Crawl, and to Star Providence. Star Providence, which I will definitely get a lot more hours into soon. It's recently gotten such a big update that I just have to play it, you know? Yeah. And so now that I've covered my top 10 most played games on Steam, you might think that Jump Dash is my favorite game of all time, but actually no, not at all. And it's not any of these ones. It's Outer Wilds, which I only have 28 hours on, surprisingly enough. So playtime doesn't really mean that you... I think, okay, playtime in a game really means... It says more about the community of a game than it does about its contents. a high playtime of a game. Like if you watch all of these games that I've mentioned, they are all community focused, right? Because they gotta be. Even Elden Ring, I don't think I would have that much hours if there wasn't a big community around it. Simply because, I mean, that's what it keeps the engagement in. But it doesn't mean that it's gonna be the best game. But it does help a decent amount, right? So yeah, thank you for watching this video. It's probably very unorganized. Uh, my editing will probably be poor, but who knows? I hope I'll get it out soon enough. I'm recording this on the 2nd of March. Let's try to get it out by the 7th, okay? Yeah. Thank you for listening, and I hope to make more videos like this. Well, not exactly like this, because there's only so many games to cover on my Steam profile. But maybe a video on some other games or just some other art. I like covering art. I like covering writing and poems. So maybe I'll do that. Thank you for watching, listening more. So there's not much to watch.